Yes, I'm Carl from Early Bird Termite Pest Control. I do have a license to kill, just like you said. And probably the only one at the table that does. We've talked for some time about some of the distinctive things about early bird. And I brought up some terms like live termite out clause and Formosan termite exclusions and control periods and things like that. And so for today's 7-minute, I'm going to get a little more in-depth on those things. So hopefully you'll have a clear understanding of what that means. It's not quite as much of a fun 7-minute, but I think it's important to understand those things. A real quick scenario. This is a true story. A guy named Lou Capucci has a house. And he has in that house for 7 years. He is all about his house. He's a retired guy. And he spends 2 times a week crisscross cutting his lawn, and he goes to Home Depot just to mill around to think about buying a tool so he can do something on his house. Well, I'm doing an inspection on this fellow's house and for a clearance letter, and it is perfectly fine, except there's a little bit of sponginess in a windowsill. And I said, Mr. Capucci, I can clear your house. You are good to go. He's not a customer of mine, but I'm doing a termite inspection. And so I said, there is a little bit of sponginess in your windowsill. Not a big deal. Probably a little bit of fungus. Not even going on the report. Well, he goes in, and I figure he's going to come out with my $45 check for my clearance letter, and he doesn't. He comes out with a crowbar. And he said, I'm just going to go ahead and check this out while you're here. And so he pops his windowsill off, and termites come spilling out right in front of me. So they're just piling out. This guy's floored because this whole house is his baby. And I said, oh, gee, Mr. Capucci. Back then I had paper letters that I was filling out, so I kind of tear up the letter and I said, hey, but I'll back you up. The company that does have a bond on your house is going to have to pay for all this damage. Long story short, he started removing the siding, and the company agreed to pay for the damage. And it went up to the 2nd story, all the way down to the corner of his garage, across the face of the house, across the garage, 2 stories high, all headers destroyed, and then on the back side of the house, every bit of siding is taken off, live termites piling out everywhere. And you would think you'd find that on inspection, but you just can't. Sometimes it's all inside the wall, from the inside of the wood out. And so that company ended up having to write him a check for $67,000 on a 7-year-old house. That's why it's a really important thing. Now, the thing you should know, though, is in front of you are there are documents. One is our early bird agreement for termite, and the others are, you have various ones. And I shouldn't be copying these other contracts, but I want you to see these things. One's a Terminex contract, you got a Carroll contract, you got Arrow in there. And if you look at the language on the Terminex contract real fast, there is language that says, unless live termites are found in the damaged area, the damage discovered is old and is not covered under this agreement. If you look at the Arrow contract on the back side, it says, Arrow provides us full repair and retreatment warranty, so you feel good about that, provided that live subterranean termites are found in the damaged area, and the damage discovered is old and not covered. Or you look at the Carroll agreement, and it says right at the top that, I can't even remember, but it says something like, this contract provides for the retreatment of the structure, but does not cover damages at all. And they wanted $880 for that agreement. And it doesn't even cover damages. So when people are signing up for these agreements, they need to kind of understand what they're agreeing to. So let me explain that live termite out clause. If you're Mr. Capucci and you have $67,000 in damage in your house, and you go to file a claim, and you say, thank God I have that termite warranty. And the manager comes out, and he's a really nice guy, and he said, don't worry, you have a repair plan on your house. And he says, but this house was here, and those termites were likely doing all this damage before we showed up on the scene. And then when we did our treatment, we stopped all that damage from happening. Okay? It was done, but that didn't magically repair all the damage that's in the walls. So we have to determine at this point whether or not that damage is new damage or whether the damage is old damage. And so you're like, oh my God, I'm looking at $67,000 damage. How are you going to determine that? Well, It says there right there in the agreement that you signed 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. It says, unless live termites are found, the damage is considered old. So I'm seeing this damage here, but I don't see any live termites in it. But I do see live termites in this one stud over here. And so we stopped the termites that were doing this damage, but they did breach our treatment right here in this one stud. So we are going to repair this one stud and put sheetrock over it, while all the rest of the $66,980 worth of damage is all considered old. That's called the live termite out clause. And it takes a liability that you think is covering your house and turns it into coverage that covers about that much of damage. That limits a company's liability. That's only one of many out clauses. Early Bird does not have the live termite out clause. We don't have Formosan termite exclusions. We don't have control periods. Our warranties are all transferable to all new owners for free, forever. We have some of the lowest renewal pricing around $165 a year for our termite control. So please refer Early Bird and connect me to anybody that may have these huge holes in their warranty. Carl from Early Bird. Thank you.